Hey guys, Pete Koch here, the Swede from Heartbreak Ridge, the 1986 Clint Eastwood classic that I was a part of, and very proud of all these years that the movie's become kind of a part of our popular culture. I'm going to give us a movie review, offering some of my behind-the-scenes observations in this movie that's made just over 30 years ago. So I'm going to kind of work through this chronologically. I've got the movie on in front of me. I'm watching it. As the movie opens up and the credits roll, you'll see that Clint Eastwood is revealed to be in jail. Not looking too good. I think the audience kind of wondering, a star like Clint Eastwood, what's he doing in jail? We come to find out that it's kind of more of the same in his life as a gunnery sergeant. Sort of some kind of down on his luck, kind of hard time. So he ends up in jail for something silly having to do with being drunk and disorderly, maybe urinating on a police car. Not really sure, but not a real good look for our Gunny Highway. He gets bailed out and kind of begins his journey, working his way back to Camp Lejeune, North Carolina, where he's gonna find out what's in store for him there. This movie was not filmed in North Carolina. It was filmed at Camp Pendleton in San Clemente, California. So that was done, I think, just for simple budgetary reasons. Certainly, as an actor, all the actors in this show, most of them, a couple were from New York, actually. Vincent Israeri and a couple others were New York-based actors, but most, like myself, were based in Los Angeles. So just driving down to work on the film at Camp Lejeune was certainly convenient. It's an amazing location for us. During the 5 weeks that I worked on the film, 4 of those weeks were at Camp Lejeune, and the Marines I worked with that acted as a support system for us actors. By the way, all the actors, all the Marines that you see kind of hovering around the periphery are all real Marines. So there was no extras cast. There were Marines that were specifically cast and paid as extras, hired by Clint Eastwood and his production company. And when they weren't just kind of maneuvering around in the background, what they were doing was coaching us actors on how to act like recon Marines. Even though we were screw-ups for much of the movie, we were coached continuously. It was a kind of a brilliant way to help us look and be more authentic as actors, how to wear a uniform, how to hold weapons, etc. So as the movie moves on, we're going to see that Gunny Highway makes his way back to Camp Lejeune. He finds himself in the sort of undesirable position of, again, kind of being low man on the totem pole, being a gunnery sergeant and war hero. And he's just not treated with the kind of respect by the officers there that he really deserves. And we start to see the conflict between Gunny Highway and the people that he works with. You know, as the story unfolds, the audience is introduced to quite an interesting character named Stitch Jones, played by Mario Van Peebles. He seems to be moonlighting as a rock singer in very small rock and roll bars, someplace out in the middle of no place. Well, he ends up getting on a bus, Stitch Jones does, as he's working his way back to Camp Lejeune. He ends up sitting next to, wouldn't you know it, Gunny Highway. This relationship, which is going to be a centerpiece for the movie Heartbreak Ridge, starts right now, about 12 minutes into the film. So a notable moment here, as Stitch Jones really gets introduced to our audience and to Gunny Highway in particular. He gets on a bus, and the first thing that Stitch Jones does is he notices is that this Marine sergeant is asleep in his seat with a six-pack exposed, and Stitch, first thing he does is steal a beer, right? So we're off to, he steals one of Gunny Highway's beers. So right away, they're off to a bit of a rocky story. Of course, Gunny, kind of catches him in the act, but right away there's this, I don't know about this guy kind of moment going on between the two, which is sort of reminiscent of some of the early spaghetti westerns of Clint Eastwood, where he was sort of somehow always seems to run into some nefarious characters, and he's got to figure out how he's going to kind of maneuver with these people in his lives. It gets off to a rocky start when we see that they end up, Stitch Jones and Gunny Highway end up kind of connecting a little bit and having a meal at the diner, and things get a little bit crazy between these two. Gunny Highway makes his way to see what's going on with his troops and what his command will be when he gets to Camp Lejeune. And he is first met by his commanding officer, Major Powers, played brilliantly by Everett McGill, who is a lot of people know from the movie Silver Bullet, Stephen King book and movie, and he's just an amazing, dramatic, baritoned voice, very powerful actor. I think perfectly cast in this film, and he plays the antithesis of what Gunny Highway represents to the Marine Corps. Gunny Highway is a man who has served his country in battle, in the face of, he's earned the Purple Heart. He's got scars on his face that represent, he's got a look on his face that represents, what he knows from the horrors of war. As it works out, Major Powers, who went to the Naval Academy and has never seen, as he says, never had the opportunity or the honor of serving in wartime. But he doesn't know anything. He really doesn't know anything except what somebody might learn about war in college, rather than Gunny Highway. He's really been there. So they're going to be at odds. From there, Gunny Highway shows up to take a look at the men, the recon battalion that he's going to be working with, and he sees the biggest bunch of screwballs that you can imagine, and runs right back into Stitch Jones, who ripped him off at the bus station just a little bit earlier in the film. And then there's also this great cast of characters, including late Tom Villard, one of the great characters there. Boyd Gaines, right? Of course, Mario Van Peebles plays Stitch Jones, and Vincent Irizarry, who's been a long time soap opera star, who made this one of his, I think, few film appearances. A terrific actor. Ramon Franco is just absolutely great in this movie. Mike Gomez and Rodney Hill, and that sort of makes up the crew that Clint will be working with. Also, some foreshadowing happens here where these guys who are already ticked off that they're going to have a tough son of a gun like Gunny Highway in charge of them. They are, in a bit of foreshadowing, sort of announcing or alerting to him that a guy named the Swede, is a bad dude, and Gunny's going to have to contend with him when he gets out of the brig. So, and here it is. So we're at the 20-minute mark in the movie, and there's our first mention of the Swede. A little further on, Clint is seen at a local restaurant, conversing with his ex-wife, played by Marsha Mason, who I had a chance, also to meet and work with, and what a beautiful, charming woman she was and is, and a terrific actor. And I think she adds, sort of that gravity to this film, where so we're seeing sort of two storylines, emerging on these rails. We've got, and it's all the motor is Clint Eastwood and Gunny Highway. So we've got his professional life, and then we have his private life, and he's struggling in both, really, and he desperately wants to, I think, find that romance in his life. And we also meet at the same time the possible impediment to rekindling his romance with Marsha Mason, in the form of Bo Svensson, who I've had a chance to meet with over the years, who is just outstanding. I will always think of him as the great character that he played in North Dallas 40. And Bo is 6'7", and at this time, he's probably running about 260 pounds. But he's a terrific actor. I mean, he's been in so many great films. A very, very serious actor, and he was just perfectly cast, I think, also in this film. And so now we've got the setup for the couple of potential dramas faced as Gunny Highway. He gets out of jail, gets back on his feet, and this is where his life is at. It's kind of messy. That guy holding, getting held back, the black guy. That's Mario's stand-in.
No.
So they gave him a part. Okay, so that basically sets up the movie, right? So we're like at 25, 30 minutes into the film, just kind of completing the first act. And we see, again, Gunny Highway's kind of on two rails here. He's got his career, he's kind of in shambles, just got a really tough group of knuckleheads that he's got to whip into shape, and he knows he's got his work cut out for him. But he's also very confident. This is the part of his life he knows better than anybody, is as good as anybody else at getting Marines into shape. And then the other part of his life is getting his romance, the romantic part of his life. Again, can he reconcile things with his ex-wife, who basically left him because he was a lifer and probably more married to the Marine Corps than married to her. So let's move forward. Clint begins the process of getting and molding his group into one thinking unit. They come out, their hair is all grown out, they're wearing all different colored shirts, and he says, we're going to get you guys all on the same page. I want everybody's hair high and tight, and I want everybody to start the day wearing the same t-shirt. That's going to be kind of a through line here, is how these t-shirts, they come in, they've got all these different colored t-shirts. How is it that they're going to be able to know which colored t-shirt Gunny wants them all to wear? He wants them to wear the same t-shirt he's going to wear each day. So how are they going to figure this out? This is all part of kind of what's brewing. He takes the guys out on a long run for their physical fitness, and they're obviously, he's got a group of guys that are not in condition. They don't know how to march. They don't even know the cadences, and so it's a fiasco. So we're really learning to what magnitude this kind of messy situation that Gunny Highway is in at this point.